Hi, my name is Rowena and I am the designer for the Sojourner Travelers notebooks, planners, and other leather goods. On this channel, I talk about our products, stationery, travel lifestyle, and basically anything that will help you document your life as it happens. If you're interested in any and all of those topics, please consider subscribing. In this video, I'm going to show you the different leathers that we have in our lineup and show you what it looks like, how it feels, and generally how it wears. So stay tuned. First off, let me start by saying that the leathers that we offer in the studio are carefully chosen by me personally to fit the Sojourner brand of simple, lightweight, and travel friendly. We have enough to carry on a daily basis. We don't really need extra weight, do we? I'd like for you to be able to take your notebook to journal, plan, or sketch whenever or wherever you go if you so choose. And having notebooks that are lightweight will enable you to do just that. This here is a traveler's notebook. It has cords which holds inserts such as this. An insert is thin, and there are 4 cords to this notebook so that it can hold 4 inserts. A traveler's notebook style can also hold thicker notebooks, but I suggest that if you will put a thicker notebook inside of it, that you use 2 cords to hold the notebook in place. So let me show that to you. Let's just pretend that this is a thicker notebook. You would put the back cover in the last cord and the front cover perhaps in one of the middle cords. That will secure a thicker notebook. Now the traveler's notebook is really designed with inserts in mind. So if you put a thicker book inside of it and embellish your pages to the hilt, you will have overhang. Just be aware of that. Now the folio has flaps in the front and in the back. That is what holds your thicker notebook in place by putting the front cover and the front flap and the back cover on the back flap. So that's a folio. Let's start off with a natural veggie tanned leather. In the studio, we use 3 different weights of this leather: light, medium, and sturdy. We use the different weights depending on what we are using it for. For a folio, traveler's notebook, whether we use it for a body or a pocket, these are the different weights that we will use accordingly. This leather to me has a very classic look to it. I love how it patinas or changes color through time and use. The natural oils on your hands actually helps in that process, as well as tanning it outside in the sun. Did you know that you can do that? Well, you absolutely can. It turns from a light color to a tan and to an even darker tan. Let me show you a darker one that I have here in the studio. This probably is about a year old, and I use this on some of my travels, and so that is why it's a little bit darker. But it can actually get a little bit more darker than this. So that's the natural veggie tanned leather. Now next we have Getty. Getty is probably the thinnest leather and the lightest leather that we have in the studio. It is smooth, soft to the touch, and this too can darken a little bit with use. It's a very beautiful brown. It's almost, I want to say like a caramel, but not quite. Let me show you the backside of Getty. Getty is very soft. Next, we have one of our newest leathers, Kinnaman, and this one is Tola. We've had Tola for about 3 years now, but Kinnaman is fairly new. But these 2 leathers are pretty much the same type of leather as far as scratches. It doesn't really scratch easily, and it's a very smooth, sleek leather. It's fairly flexible, yet it's sturdy. So if you want leather that doesn't scratch easily and doesn't look worn quickly, then you might want to choose these two leathers. Again, this is Kinnaman and Tola. And Kinnaman, by the way, is more of a red-brown, like a cinnamon color. And Tola is a definite red. Now on both of these, on the back side, it is a smooth leather, but it still feels kind of soft. Next is ibex. This ibex is basically similar in Kinnaman and Tola in texture and in feel. And it doesn't scratch as easily, but it is slightly lighter in weight than the other two. Color-wise, ibex is a medium dark brown. This leather is what you will often see in the Studio Series notebooks, the ultra big notebooks that we have available. And we use this because it's fairly lightweight, yet it's sturdy. Next is the ever popular pull-up leathers, which comes in Roadrunner, Stag, and Caribou. Roadrunner is maroonish reddish brown. Stag is what I would call a milk chocolate brown, and whereas Caribou is more of a dark chocolate. There's also Levi. That also is a pull-up leather. Levi is blue, a very dark blue. It almost looks black, so I would say it's more of a blue-black. Pull-ups are a favorite because of how it wears. In the areas that the leather is stretched or pulled, the color becomes lighter. Let me show you that on the Roadrunner. See how it gets lighter in the areas that's stretched or pulled or rolled? This is the perfect leather to roll because of the variation that can really be noticed from the rolling. It has an old world look. It's definitely a classic type leather. So again, this is Roadrunner, Stag, Caribou, and Levi. The back of these have a little bit of a texture on them, but really it depends on the piece that you receive. Sometimes there's more texture than others, and that goes for all leather. But it's fairly smooth, quite pliable. Next up is Seed, Olive, and Sand. These leathers are what we call nubuck. It is often used on shoes, on jackets, on travel bags, because of its resistance to wear. It's a beautiful leather, and it's very soft, quite pliable, yet it's sturdy. Do you see these lines right here? Those are stretch marks. I love it when I'm able to get a piece that has the stretch marks because it shows a lot of character. On the back side, it is very soft. Feel-wise, it's not rough or anything, but depending on the piece or the lot that you get your leather from, it could be a little bit hairy like this, or it could be very smooth like this sand. So again, these are the nubuck leathers: Seed, Olive, and Sand. Now next up, we have the Folio Letters. Now the Folio Leathers can only be used basically on folios, although some of the other leathers that I've showed previously and mentioned, those can be used for folios also, but it would really depend on the softness and flexibility of the piece. On folios, we can use soft pieces of leather, but on the Traveler's Notebook style, which has the cords, if you're familiar with the Traveler's Notebook style, I will only use leathers that have sturdiness to it, because what happens a lot of times, if you use leather that's a softer leather like the Folio Leathers, what happens is that when we put the cords here, it begins to cave because of the softness of the leather. And so it doesn't look good to me when it caves like that. It looks kind of sloppy. I mean, there's always going to be a little bit of a cave at times depending on the leather that you choose, but it's minimal. Not like when we use it on the folios. It's noticeable, and that's why I don't like using the softer leathers for the traveler's notebooks. But these ones, like I said, are specifically for folio use. These leathers come in Jordan, Poppy, Rose of Sharon, Enoch, and Yael. Now these three are a little bit thicker than these two leathers. These are a little more sturdier, a little weightier, not by much. And these are almost cloth-like, very light. Now these leathers are definitely soft. These feel really good to the touch on the inside. And does that really matter? Sometimes to some people it does, because in here, like on this tola, it's not that it's rough or anything, but it doesn't have necessarily a very soft feel, like a nice blanket, for example, like on the Rose of Sharon and on the Poppy. So yeah, sometimes it makes a difference. Some people really like the softness of it. These ones are also soft and has a nice feel to it. Actually, it's about the same as these two. So again, that's Jordan, which is like a taupe or olive. Enoch is black. Poppy is orange. Yael is like a brick red. And Rose of Sharon is very pink. Now on the website, we also have what we call surprise leathers. Those are leathers that are basically, when you order, are a surprise. You won't really know what you're going to get. Those leathers are usually limited, and once they are gone, they are gone. If you order a notebook in a surprise leather, that just means that you are trusting that we will give you something wonderful, because like I've said before, we don't have ugly leather. So let me show you a couple of those leathers that we've had in the past. There we go. Again, these are some of the leathers that we've used as part of our surprise series. The ever popular turmeric. And this one has a variegated caramel color to this particular leather. And this one here is like a wine color, maroon. So these are just some of the samples of what we've offered as surprise leathers. Now let's talk about pockets. We have two different types of pockets. Designer pocket, and this one's a regular front pocket. The designer pocket comes from the edge of a hide. Some hides have a rough edge with some markings, and a regular pocket has a smooth edge with a scoop. Let me talk a little bit about designer pockets. When you order a designer, the pocket will come from the remnant of a hide. Not all hides will have the designer edge. It is a one-off, meaning no two are alike, and it is limited. You will receive a rough-like edge and sometimes clamp marks like this. Every now and again, we get pieces that will have numbers etched on the leather, but we will not send you a notebook with numbers on it unless you request it specifically at checkout on the website, with the understanding that we cannot guarantee that you will receive it. It is a request, and again, it is very limited. Having said that, if you do not want clamp marks and just want the rough edge, you can request that as well, and we will do our best to accommodate you. Also, please note that the stitching on a designer will always be in red. There is a story behind that you may have already heard, and so I'll not explain it here. Just know that the red stitching on a designer is set in stone, something we do not change. Now we also have what we call special pockets, or a special brown pocket. Basically, unless stated on the website, pockets come in natural leather. However, we do have a limited amount of the special brown pockets available, mostly in the scoop style, like this, and some on the designer style. Now this can be any shade of brown, and sometimes we get requests that the pocket be just like so-and-so's. Please keep in mind that we cannot make anything exact, especially in the designer series. And when it comes to the special pocket, the shade can be different from one notebook to another. You can see here the different shades we've used in the past. I hope that this video has been informative. If you have further questions, please feel free to comment below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Until next time, keep on documenting life as it happens. Bye-bye. On the back side of Getty, let me show you let me talk a little bit about this. So please stay tuned. So stay tuned. Coming up.